COPWATCH, policing the police every single day.
NBC2 News at 5.
Police arrested a Charlotte County Sheriff's deputy for stalking, threatening his victim with a taser in his car. I'm Kelly Burns.
And I'm Peter Bush.
This wasn't just a one-time incident, and it was certainly enough for our officers to believe that the victim's life was in jeopardy.
A former girlfriend says Deputy David Motz stalked her for a year. She thought Motz might kill her.
NBC2's Samantha Serban is live at the Northport Police Department for us tonight. And Samantha, walk us through what this deputy is accused of.
Peter, Kelly, he's accused of stalking her on a daily basis. They're alleging he even pointed his agency-issued taser at her and threatening if she were to report him to police, she would end up like Denise Amber Lee. The victim took that to mean kidnapped, raped, and murdered. He is responsible for upholding the law. Now Charlotte County Deputy David Motz is the one behind bars.
He's being charged with aggravated stalking stemming from a complaint from a young lady with whom Deputy Motz had a previous relationship.
The woman's name is not being released, but just 3 days ago, she took her complaint to Northport Police, saying she fears for her life and her child's.
This wasn't just a one-time incident, and it was certainly enough for our officers to believe that the victim's life was in jeopardy.
Court records detail the harassment over the course of more than a year. Motz allegedly showing up to the victim's work, following her, dropping off money and gifts, which the victim returned, and consistently emailing her even after she asked him to stop.
He was obviously doing some things to this victim that we found to be inappropriate in crossing the line.
The threats go on. The victim saying Motz pointed his agency-issued taser at her, even threatening if he were to lose his job because she reported him, she would, quote, end up like Denise Amber Lee.
She was kidnapped, raped, and murdered here in Northport.
Motz is being held without bond, facing a felony. Sheriff Bill PRUMMELL says Motz is on administrative leave without pay.
It is a sad day as another law enforcement officer has tarnished our badge and has broken that sacred trust we worked so hard to build.
Florida statutes exempt law enforcement mug shots from public record. Motz will face a judge in the morning. Live in Northport, Samantha Serban, NBC2.
Again, the stalking victim said the deputy told her she would end up like Denise Amber Lee, a kidnapping and murder case that terrorized the community. Back in 2008, a man abducted the young mother from her home in Northport, leaving her 2 children behind. A kidnapper drove her around in his car before raping and eventually killing her. At one point, Lee managed to dial 911, but dispatchers did not have the technology to pinpoint her location. Her killer, Michael King, is now awaiting execution on death row. And what's even more chilling, Denise's father was a detective with the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, the same agency as Deputy Motz.
Tonight at 6, a deputy sworn and employed to protect you arrested now for stalking his ex-girlfriend. The Northport Police Department arrested Charlotte County Deputy David Motz after a year of threatening her, they say. At one point, the threats were so bad he told her she would, quote, end up like Denise Amber Lee. That's a name familiar to a lot of us. Denise was kidnapped, raped, and murdered, taken from her own home in Northport in 2008. Wink News reporter Erica Jackson, live at the Northport Police Department now. You heard from the mother of the victim. How is she doing?
Well, Chris, the family is happy that he's behind bars, but worry what could happen when he gets out. The victim reported Deputy David Motz's harassment here to police over the weekend. Exactly what he warned her not to do.
It is not once in a while, it's every day. It's every day.
Constant emails, phone calls, and unannounced visits by Charlotte County Deputy David Motz. His former girlfriend reported his stalking to Northport Police after a year of harassment.
She would get some kind of protection order so he wouldn't be able to follow her and stay away from her.
The victim's mother told me her daughter didn't want Motz to lose his job. She just wanted him to leave her alone.
Anytime people are making threats to hurt somebody, and that's being able to be substantiated, you know, we have a duty to proceed.
The woman claimed Motz said if she ever went to police and he lost his job, she would end up like Denise Amber Lee. If you were here in 2008, you may remember how a man kidnapped, raped, and murdered her. I spoke with Nathan Lee, Denise's husband, just hours after Motz's arrest.
It's terrifying to think that there are people out there that'll do those types of things, or at least threaten those types of things, or especially use my wife as, leverage.
Her family hopes the man responsible for stalking and stress stays away.
It's about time now maybe she can get some peace.
And maybe tonight, because Motz is in jail without bond, he's scheduled to go before a judge tomorrow. And even if he does get out of jail, he won't be going back to work. He's on administrative leave without pay. I'm live in Northport. Erica Jackson, Wink News Now.
Erica, thank you. In 2008, Denise Amber Lee managed to get her captor's phone and dial 911. She was on the phone with Charlotte County dispatchers for more than 9 minutes trying to identify cross streets so they could find her. Even though police were within a mile of the car that she was trapped in, none were dispatched. That led to major changes in how dispatchers handle 911 calls. So the next time you call 911, because of this, your iPhone will automatically pinpoint your exact location and send it to dispatchers.